What is going on, FA Nation? Johnny Pepe here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Playbook live show. It is Monday. We got 8 games here on the main slate. Grande, how we doing, man?
We're great. It's Monday, beginning of the week, recharged, refreshed, not tired, not yawning, nothing. Great. Certainly awesome. Doing great. It's a good day. It's been raining. Haven't been able to leave my house. My kids have been cooped up like rabid dogs because they can't go outside either. So, doing great.
Yeah, I fully on board. We have a fun 8 game slate to talk about here. No weather concerns, right? Maybe not. Maybe some weather concerns. Washington and Atlanta's got some rain potentially in the area. We'll see if that game is delayed at all or not.
You're like, please let it rain.
Miami, Chicago was that other game that we talked about on the preview show. Also, some potential rain in the area for that game as well, but nothing that is expected to, at least right now, cause any sort of postponements. So we have a pretty clear slate, 8 games to talk about, pitching matchups, ownership, all of that that we'll get to. We go position by position. We build a lineup at the end of the show. For those of you who are new and tuning in, hit that like, that share, and subscribe button. Free way to support the work we do here over at Fantasy Alarm. Grinding kicking off here. Paul Skeens, your top price starting pitcher on the slate. Michael King and Tyler Mahle round out the 9K range. Ownership, one particular player is getting a lot more than the others. That's Michael King against the Angels. Kind of what I think we expected to see here. Does that make him any more or less appealing to you on this 8 game slate?
I think in baseball, more than anything else, you can play chalk and just differentiate elsewhere, right? Like, that's not always the case, I think, in like other sports for tournaments and stuff. But like with the way that baseball DFS is and like lineup construction is, sometimes just take the obvious pitcher and move on, right? And I'm not saying it's going to work 100% of the time. That's obviously not how baseball works. Baseball is the most fluky of all of that stuff. But it's very hard to see a scenario where Michael King, if he's not the top scoring pitcher, isn't like second. And I think he's top 2, and I don't think he's 2, John. So I'm with the field on Michael King. This is an Angels offense, 25th in OPS against righties, 26th in WOBA, 26.5% strikeout rate. The only thing we've talked about all year is the home runs, right? They're 7th in ISO against righties. It's the only thing they can do. They just hit home runs. Good for them. I'm happy for them. Awesome. Home runs, doubles, all that good stuff. That isn't really Michael King's game. Like lefties, 108 ISO against them. Lefties, 103 ISO against them. Mm-hmm. Expected stuff, 140s, still like subpar. And he has a massive strikeout rate. It's just like when I'm looking at this top tier, because we're going to talk about the other 2, because the top 3 guys are also the top 3 owned guys.
Yep.
I think that Michael King just has Mahle has the best matchup of the 3 overall. Colorado is just the worst team ever. But he is not the pitcher that Michael King or Paul Skeens are, right? He is a fine pitcher who has pitched well, but he does not strike people out like Michael King or Paul Skeens.
You should feel encouraged knowing that, although a month ago when Tyler Mahle faced the same Angels team, 6 shutout with 9 Ks, right?
And that featured Mike
his best
Trout.
Performance of the season,
Yeah, with Mike Trout, right? Yeah, like Mike Trout was still alive at that point. And then like Paul Skeens has the Mets, who are waking up, who have a really good offense. And I'm not going to say like Paul Skeens isn't fine and can't go out there and dominate. Hasn't looked as untouchable as he was last year, right?
Right. And he's actually the lowest rostered of the 3, though slightly. It's Michael King by over 10%, and then it's kind of a coin flip between Mahle and Skeens. Skeens is coming in, at least as of now, 3rd of that group. Now we did this show on Friday, and I think 15 times throughout the show, and I was a larger slate. the ownership was changing on us drastically. So we'll see if by the end of this hour that is still the case here. But yeah, you're getting almost 25% ownership on Paul Skeens, 27-ish% ownership on Tyler Mahle, and Michael King's almost 38% tonight. So these are tournament numbers. If you play single entry or cash games, double it, right? So something close to that for King most likely here. But then it does get interesting. Now there's certainly some value on today's slate. Potentially a 2K starter. Jordan Lawler, number 4 prospect in baseball, got called up. Expected to be active on the roster before today's game. We don't know if he'll play right away. The reports are he'll play 4 to 5 times a week at 3 different positions across the infield. If he's in, that's $2,000 at shortstop that you could punt today to help you spend up in the outfield where there's a lot of good at-bats. But if you're choosing to go not 2 of the top 3 price starting pitchers today, David Peterson was the guy that we use in our lineups. He's 8,200. He's the next guy in line. He gets Pittsburgh. We don't know if O'Neal Cruz is in the lineup yet. I don't think. Did we get Pittsburgh lineup yet?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think we got the Pittsburgh lineup yet. Either way, Pittsburgh pretty bad against left-handed pitching this year. Obviously, if they don't have O'Neal Cruz, that's pretty much the only bat you've been concerned about so far this season in that Pittsburgh lineup. David Peterson setting up to be a really nice play. And honestly, if he's kind of the leverage and you're saving $1,000+ on a Mahle today, like I'd prefer to play Peterson in this spot over Tyler Mahle, I think.
Yeah, I think, man, it's so tough because like we can't understate how good of a matchup it is for Mahle. But I think Peterson is the better pitcher. And Pittsburgh, pretty equivalent to Colorado, kind of to your point, 25th in OPS, 26th in ISO, 24th or WOBA. So 24th or worse in like 3 major categories. And then they have a 26% strikeout rate. There are some slightly good numbers for righties against David Peterson this year. 154 expected ISO, 366 expected WOBA for Peterson, and the strikeout rate drops. But like, who are the righties that are getting to Peterson here? Is it Andrew McCutchen in the year 2025? Is it is it Tommy Pham? Is it Henry Davis, who's Paul Skeen's personal catcher, and that's probably the only reason Henry Davis is even on.
Probably the only reason he's on. Yeah, he's out there still.
So like, there's not a lot to like. I like David Peterson quite a bit. I think he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, fully on board with you. And then your next guy is actually in the value range. Colin Ray against the Miami Marlins is getting the next level of ownership here. So thoughts on spending down to Colin Ray, a guy that has had certain moments over the course of his career where like, oh, let's catch a hot stretch of Colin Ray. And then he turns back into like, this number 4 starter that he really is. But it's Miami. He's pitching relatively well. Are you buying into the value play today?
So you're saying he turns into Colin Ray?
Think so.
Tommy Pham also serving 1 game suspension on Monday, so he is not available.
For what did he do this time? Fantasy football related or
probably fantasy football related.
Yeah.
Oh no, he did the little how do I phrase this? He did that motion. Did you see this to the fan? You did not see him do
he flip off a fan or something like that?
No.
Okay. Something worse than that?
It involves his hand and the air.
Sure.
And he was using his hand in a certain motion towards the fan.
Sure. I saw the other day when I was doing some Google Trends research that Tommy Pham fantasy football was actually the breakout search results. Didn't end up writing that article, but it was out there.
Is he firing up the league? Is he firing up the league again? Or
yeah, I don't know. People are just now realizing the story. Anyways, so Tommy Pham not even in the lineup, so we have better spots for Peterson. Listen, again, Colin Ray has never been anything too spectacular. Even this year, 7.5 K per 9. Walks are fine. He's not giving up any home runs this year, but last year 1.5, the year before that 1.6. His 2.4 ERA is still matched with like a 4 xFIP, 3.86 ERA. Middling pitcher this year, but given the slate and the lack of value and the fact that the Cubs are such big favorites today with Cal Quantrill on the other side, people are spending down on Colin Ray, spending up somewhere else, and getting the value there.
So I will say this. I am moderately concerned with Colin Ray today. And bar. It's a bar. Yeah. The lefty numbers you highlighted last night, and we were like, he's been bad. I made the comment like in passing, like we'll come back to this, and you actually just looked it up right there. You were like, nah, we don't need to come back to it. We'll go to it right now.
Yeah.
And he still was kind of bad against lefties. The bad against lefties is even worse when you look at the expected stuff. 164 ISO, 254 254 expected ISO, 329 WOBA, 370 expected WOBA for lefties. John, I just counted, they have 7 lefties, the Marlins, tonight in their lineup. They're playing 7 lefties. It's not like a great recipe for Colin Ray when he is blatantly bad against one split and the Marlins are like, we dare you to be good against our 7 lefties. And I'm not saying like all 7 of them are good.
Yeah, Matt Mervis
we talked about it. Matt Mervis has gone up there without a bat. And he's hitting 5th. But 229 ISO against right-handed pitching this year for Matt Mervis. Like, I'm not saying his 38% strikeout rate is not of concern, because it is. But Colin Ray, not exactly like this big strikeout guy. Just worth mentioning. They got Derek Hill back. That's one of their righties. And Agustin Ramirez. That's their other righties. Everyone else is hitting from the left side tonight. So just thought I'd mention it. I think it's perfectly fine to look at Colin Ray as a value. But I think what I see through you said, and we'll get to all your guys' comments. Appreciate everyone in the chat. I see through you just said like he likes Colin Ray, but also was going to stack against him. And I think that's like a good way to look at it, because he's good value against a bad offense, but that bad offense is also putting 7 guys from the split that Colin Ray
at the very least, like a one-off Kyle Stowers feels good, right? Like, given the power upside that he has there. And if 24 or 20+% of the field is playing the value with Colin Ray today on DraftKings on a medium-sized slate, you want to be a little bit different. Stacking against them certainly makes some sense. Where else would you look to go here? Again, that's kind of your top 4 guys, all up over 20% in ownership here today. Do you have a favorite sort of pivot off of that group?
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Gusto is probably the guy.
I don't mean to cut you off. I just did a refresh here, and I don't know if you're seeing it. Michael King's now over 40%.
Yeah, I think Michael King is definitively the best pitcher on the board, hands down. And I think like you play him, and if you want to be different SP2 or be different with your bats, right? Because I think the matchup, the ballpark, the pitcher, all just super elite. That's a play that I'm extremely comfortable with at that ownership. I think to be different, if you want to be different, I don't know what the Astros are going to do with Ryan Gusto and his pitch count, but I'm not like overly concerned with it. You know, he was used as a reliever the other day. He was used as a starter previously. Where Ryan Gusto struggles is lefties, and the Royals' best players, sans Pasquantino, are all righties. So as long as he avoids the Vinny Paz power, Ryan Gusto looks really good. You know, as a starter, he worked up into the 90 pitch range. Kansas City, despite being a better team lately, that hasn't necessarily translated to better offense. Against right-handed pitching, they're still 27th in OPS and WOBA, and they're 28th in ISO. Like, you would think a team that has had sustained success over a long stretch would improve there. They have not number-wise gotten better, right?
Yeah.
Their pitching has been awesome. They've won games late. Like they had a bunch of and like Ryan Gusto's a really good pitcher, really good peripheral numbers too. Behind Ryan Gusto, who
It
has a
wasn't like
really
a
good
9
strikeout
plus
rate.
K per 9.
9+ K per 9 as a reliever, and the starter as a starter too. Like it's not just like because he's pitched, he has innings in both. He has been a quality reliever and a quality starter. So I think Ryan Gusto, who's getting 1% ownership, looks pretty good. Obviously, the pitch count would be the only concern because like he worked all the way up to 90 pitches to then work in relief his last time out. So I think that's something to consider. I like Clark Schmidt, the pitcher. You also look at some Clark Schmidt stuff. He also has had some really bad luck to start the year. Still just does not let righties do anything to him like that. It's just the lefties. And John, I know like these are going to sound scary. 318 ISO, 444 WOBA. Those are what lefties have against Clark Schmidt this year. Those are terrible. 318 ISO, 444 WOBA. But it's a 169 expected ISO and a 315 expected WOBA to lefties. Clearly been some really bad batted ball stuff. And we're talking about a guy who's going from extreme to extreme, right? 367 BABIP, by the way, to lefties too. Like just super bad batted ball stuff. He's going from Extreme Park at Yankee Stadium to Extreme Park in Seattle. Like it's terrible pitching environment to elite pitching environment. I know the Mariners offense rank really highly against a lot of good stuff. They're top 10 in OPS, ISO, and WOBA, and top 5 in 2 of those categories against right-handed pitching. Slowed down a little bit lately because Jorge Polanco doesn't look like Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, at their peak. And Cal Raleigh hasn't either. So I look at Clark Schmidt in the mid tier and I'm like, good pitcher who's probably going to be $1,000 more expensive when the batted ball stuff, regulates and he has a little bit more luck on his side.
Yeah, again, fine with it. Again, we know what their offense can be. Emerson Hancock on the other side of that. Yankees are favorites here tonight. Can get some better options for us here. Anything else that you would look at? I mean, we highlighted a little bit that Merrill Kelly, really outside of this Yankee blow-up game, has been serviceable. Quality starts in 4 of the last 6, 5 of the last 7 starts for him. 6 or more innings, less than 3 or more less runs. Middling strikeouts. The Phillies only 2 Ks, but handful of strikeouts in there. If they get the Pitcher Park, if they get a win tonight, you could be in line for 20 or so fantasy points.
I'm struggling with this one because what do you think is what is favored here? Because Merrill Kelly, 198 expected ISO to lefties, 253 expected ISO to lefties, right? Both are really bad. 342 expected WOBA to lefties, 377 expected WOBA to righties. Both bad. But he's pitching better than that, obviously. And the Giants are middling against right-handed pitching. But Merrill Kelly has the elite ballpark behind him in this. What wins out? Like the expected stuff that Merrill Kelly's just kind of been lucky because you said it, like 20% strikeout to lefties, 15 to righties.
His K per 9 is the lowest
terrible.
it's been of his career. Now, again, so some of those starts, have kind of worked against him, and his overall numbers, that one Yankee start certainly works against him with the 9 runs allowed in that game. But his expected ERA is still almost 5. His xFIP's 4.18, in line with his ERA. He gets a lot of ground balls, kind of always been the case with him.
A lot of ground balls.
But for a guy that gets a lot of ground balls, 1.2 homers per 9 on the year. So, and again, Yankees game kind of skews some of those numbers there. 3 homers allowed in that one. Faced Atlanta, gave up 2 shots there. So I'm willing to trust it. I'm willing to think that maybe he's a bit of a better pitcher. I mean, this is a guy the last 4 years xFIPs and under 4. So, you kind of put him in that range in a pitcher's park with a lot of ground balls against a lineup that doesn't have a lot of threat, against you. Then there's a shot here at 7,700.
So you favor Kelly to the Giants offense? Like, if you
I would pitch Kelly against the Giants. I think the Diamondbacks offense is better than Verlander.
Yes. How would you rank those 4?
Which
Diamondbacks offense first, Kelly second?
I don't think. Again, I'm not. The one thing that obviously has frustrated you or can be frustrating when you face the Giants is they have a lot of guys that can get to you with singles and doubles and things like that. They don't really have a prolific power hitter outside of Willy Adames, but again, that's kind of only been proven to be in one location so far in his career, in Milwaukee. So Lee is obviously a great hitter. We've seen like Elio Ramos, but the wrong split side for him there.
He's smashing. Yeah. He's smashing.
So I mean, I would still bank on Arizona and the Arizona side of this matchup if I had to pick one.
Okay, Willie, just for just so you know, the wins in San Fran are mitigated by the ballpark construction. So wins in San Fran don't matter like they do in other ballparks. Like they constructed their stadium
to block the wind,
intentionally to block the wind. So there is like no.
Otherwise, on the bay there, the balls would be home runs.
Oh, dude!
It'd
be crazy. So. Yeah. How many home runs would Bonds have hit in the 73 in the 73?
Yeah, so the wins aren't necessarily a factor in that ballpark. So that's kind of it for me. Again, I've talked about it. Irvin has some really bad splits against lefties. I understand the Atlanta offense has been super hit or miss. He's been really good against righties. So if he can get out the struggling lefties on Washington, like Michael Harris and Matt Olson, I guess there's a chance.
Well, they're in a little. That's a facade too. There's some bad underlying stuff for.
Oh, I'm sure Jake Irvin not great as a pitcher. I'm just saying, like on the whole, his this year numbers against righties has been good. Lefties have been really bad. You have Grant Holmes on the other side of that matchup. I kind of like Washington a little bit. Some of the guys that they have in their lineup. So the only one I guess we really haven't touched on yet is Michael Wacha. Would you have any interest on the other side of that matchup against Houston?
I mean, I should. It's like kind of like Gusto. I don't mean to like just say it because of this in the same game, but like, what has Houston's offense done for themselves this year to like warrant the respect? Right? It's like it's a different offense. They're down Alvarez, down Altuve. I'd be okay with it. Wacha's been good against both splits, a little lucky against both splits, not a big strikeout guy. I'd be okay with it if he's your SB2. It's not like I'm not like excited about it, but I'd be okay with it.
Moving on over to catcher. Chicago's playing both of our friends here, Carson Kelly and Miguel Amaya in the lineup today. So if you're looking to spend up or down at catcher but play Cubs, you can. 3K Amaya hitting 8th. Carson Kelly hitting 5th today. We generally do look for some value, and if you are double spending up at pitcher in the 9K range, maybe you're going to look for some value at this catcher position. Carantini is hitting 6th today, $2,800. A guy that we like. Martin Maldonado is someone that we've highlighted with his lefty power splits. Homered the last time he was in the lineup against Colorado there. He was the punt play we built on the show.
Yep.
Would you change anything at catcher today? Is there a spot you want to go instead?
I'm definitely. I saw Tucker Barnhart's name in the year 2025 getting all the ownership, and I found that to be interesting. Not that it's like interesting because Dollander's been good, because he hasn't, and lefties have crushed him. So like I get it. He also hasn't been good on the road.
No. The home runs have really hurt him.
The home runs are a little down on the road than they are at home, but it's such a small sample. But I would say the only thing different would be Barnhart at 23. I think that, and I mentioned Hicks last night. I'd stay on Liam Hicks. They're playing both catchers today. That like kind of leads me to believe he might play the whole game.
Sure.
Obviously, they have that pinch hitting ability if they wanted to, or they move Augustin Ramirez to catcher and use like Norby or whoever to pinch hit for Hicks. But he's been really productive this year. 18 runs batted in 24 games. 770 OPS for a backup. Yeah, dude, 770 OPS for a backup catcher is pretty ridiculous. So Hicks, Diaz, we talked about last night. He's just too cheap, 3,400 for the player that he is and was always going to be. I mean, hits in like 9 straight games, bunch of RBIs lately, bunch of extra base hits lately. Like he's just been, hey, look at that. 300 hitter last year is hitting. So yeah, that would probably be the only other, and we talked to Maya 3K. Just you can forever plug Cubs catchers. It is interesting. The righties against Cal Quantrill and our good friend Mark Pitts, who's probably lurking in the chat drinking milk right now, had brought up to us in our chat 246 ISO against Quantrill, 239 expected ISO, so right on par, 480 WOBA against right-handed bats.
Yeah.
Kyle Quantrill, 39% ground ball rate, career low. Way more line drives, way more fly balls this year for Quantrill, and it has led to him getting absolutely hammered. So, yeah, Cubs.
I'm in. I like it. All right, let's go to first, where we can play more Cubs if you want. Pete Alonso against Skeens is 57. Ben Rice versus Emerson Hancock is 5K. Michael Busch up there. Matt Olson, as I mentioned, lefty splits against Jake Irvin. What are your thoughts spinning up at first today?
Yeah, no wrong answer other than Luis Arraez.
Feels that way, right?
That's my wrong answer. I'm happy for him that he had 24 fantasy points in a game that they scored 21 runs. Good for him. But that's the wrong answer. Everything else is a correct answer. Love Alonso. Ben Rice is a dog. Michael Busch, great spot. Olson, great spot. Probably wouldn't play Gavin Sheets at that price. He's still priced up like he's in Coors Field. He's not.
And he's facing a lefty.
And he's facing a lefty.
May not even be in the lineup.
Yeah, probably wouldn't be in the lineup. Nathaniel Lowe looks fine, although Grant Holmes looks way worse against righties this year. Naylor looks good against Verlander.
Goldschmidt, obviously, the way 400 batting average in balls in play still for him at $4,100. Just to give the Irvin stats, I know I went in and out on the preview show, but not everybody caught that. 523 slugging, 360 WOBA allowed to left-handed hitters, 2.3 homers per 9 to lefties, a FIP almost at 6 for Jake Irvin against left-handed hitters this year. And I know you mentioned, some of the expected stats against righties aren't good. His overall numbers, like flat out against righties this year, are good. 160 average, 230 WOBA is pretty bad, 260 slugging. Lefties have just absolutely crushed this guy. So you take some shots with Atlanta today for sure. But if you had to be selective, it'd probably be the lefties, even though, again, most of that lineup has slumped this year.
They have absolutely slumped this year. But I do like Olson hitting third. I mean, it's tough to like.
Acuna started his rehab today, so maybe a month out.
Is that the spark that they needed?
I think if you put the best player in your team back in your lineup, things might happen for you. But
is that like the spark that like their mindset changes today? Like, oh wow, he's
see coming. Acuna in the lineup and you get jacked up a little bit. Does he have any knees left? We'll find out, right? Like, that guy's doubled 220 ACLs now, right? So
shout out Derek Rose.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But obviously, getting Acuna back maybe makes him feel better. All right, that's your top half there. Again, you can pretty much play everybody but Pavin Smith because Why would you ever want that guy on your team?
Never.
Salvi's $3,700 if you wanted to go there. Pascantino's 32.
Ton of ownership too.
Yeah. I mean, the price tag itself is just always
Ridiculous. Yeah.
just ridiculous there
Yep.
for him. I mean, even with their struggles, right? Like he's still hitting 300. They didn't have a great series against Boston. As you can see, they scored 4 total runs against the Red Sox in that series. Not great, but maybe they come back around against Gusto in like a Houston bullpen and find some success. I don't know. But the ownership on him is crazy. The ownership on one other particular player seems a bit out of this world.
Two first basemen on the same team.
Yeah. Just refresh that too to make sure it's still there. Jock Peterson hitting third, hitting 130 on the year. A little bit of a hot streak, hitting 200 over his last 10. 19% rostership today.
Hell yeah.
I get this is probably price related.
Price, lineup, they look good. He showed pulse.
I mean, sorta, kinda.
Dolander against lefties this year.
I know.
286 ISO, 319 expected ISO, 403 WOBA, 416 expected WOBA, 15% strikeout rate, and he has a 50% fly ball rate on the road this year. I wanted to see what the discrepancy between road and home splits were for Dolander. It's not good. I mean, 1.75 home runs per 9.
And then you get the Rockies bullpen. And
then the Rockies bullpen. I mean, I completely understand what you're saying. He has been bad. Undoubtedly been bad.
Bad is, if he was bad, he'd be better. Right? Like he's been, but I mean, listen, he's not like out of the league bad, right? Like he was a good player last year. He didn't just,
he's a good player.
I don't think he just lost.
He hit 23 bombs and had a 900 OPS.
Yeah. So I don't think he just lost it, but he's lost it for now, but maybe he's starting to get it back around. So him and then Ezekiel Duran hitting 9th today, first base, third base eligible at $2,100 is also getting the second highest first base ownership today. He's hitting 150. So 2 guys that are hitting 130 and 150 are your 2 highest rostered first basemen as of now because of value and matchup against Dolander. But, again, not overly inspiring. We did just get a Padres lineup. Jackson Merrill in the lineup. Martin Maldonado is not in the lineup. They gave us Elias Diaz at catcher here today, who also historically has hit lefty as well. But
Gavin Sheets, you need to play Gavin Sheets today against a lefty.
Gavin Sheets is DHing. That is true.
Need to play the guy who hasn't allowed a home run to lefties against.
They got him there. So
get the lefties in. There's nothing that you can tell me seeing 3 Texas first basemen and 2 of them being really popular.
Yeah, I know.
There's nothing you can tell me as to why I shouldn't pivot to like Marlins as a contrarian play with all the lefties against like a chalky Colin Ray. Like,
I think everybody's spinning up in the outfield today, and I think that's why we're getting all this value first base play.
Let me ask you this: seeing the Rangers ownership,
yep,
Chase Dollander is obviously a super talented pitcher.
Can be, yep,
can be with a lot of strikeout upside, and just so happens to pitch his home games in the worst home environment ever.
Yes.
Seeing the ownership, because we're about to shift to second, we could just go there now. And I want you to look at your second base ownership as well.
I know. Our boy.
It's only getting worse. Would you actually consider...
We've now highlighted 3 straight Rangers getting massive ownership, all hitting under 200.
Would you actually consider Dolander just to...
I think if you're in a large field tournament, you probably could. Right? I mean, like... There's obviously a scenario in this world where like he goes 5 innings, gives up 3. The Rangers don't really pay it off, but he doesn't pay it off either. And it doesn't work out. Texas on the year, only a 20% strikeout rate versus righties.
But not good.
Not good. They're not good versus righties, but they're not striking out against righties either. So like if this is like a like Mariners from last year, where it's like a 29% strikeout rate and they're not hitting anybody, you're like, yeah, I'm going to go against the chalk offense that can't touch anybody right now. That's just not even really the case. Even the last 2 weeks against right-handed pitching, 16% strikeout rate, 325 WOBA. So they're actually better than they've been overall on the year.
Yeah, but Jake Berger's back.
Yeah, Jake Berger smashed at AAA. The PCL might have been what he needed to wake up. I don't know if you saw the numbers. They got Carter leading off today. No Seager, but they got like a lineup around them. So
like that's another, like, we're getting this chalk lineup, and their best player isn't there.
Not there. Yeah.
Oh man,
This is chalk because of price and opponent's pitcher, and they're all so cheap that I'm telling you, it's because people are just jamming like Judge Tucker in the outfield. I'm gonna be double spending up at pitcher. So.
Oh, I'm gonna be such a sicko today. I love it.
You're going Dollander, yeah? A Dollander Ray pitching stack for you? And
no. One of those two, yes. The other one, definitely not.
All right, Marcus Semien, as we mentioned, is getting a lot of ownership at second base here today, up over 20%. He's the only one up over 20%. Michael Garcia and Nico Hoerner are the only other guys up over 10%, which, again, you can certainly go in that direction if you want. Yep. Not a position that I loved.
No.
That's for sure. I'd probably be okay just punting Semien as like a one-off Texas play at second if you wanted to go there. Michael Massey is someone that, again, I've kind of liked as a value play. Starting to hit a little bit. This one threw me off briefly here. Wasn't there an old Ronnie Simon that played for the Tigers way back in the day?
Maybe is this Ronnie Simon Jr. the second?
I don't know.
Pirates lineup just dropped.
Pirates lineup. Is O'Neal Cruz in it?
He is not.
Okay.
It is bad.
It's bad.
It's bad. Okay. It's really bad.
What do we got?
Really bad. Hayes, Reynolds, McCutchen, Bart, Gorski hitting fifth, Kiner Falefa, Canario, Triolo, Davis.
It was also Randall Simon. I was close.
Randall Simon, okay.
Yeah, it's not good. Alfredo Simon, Simone, I think is how he got that one. Now it's also the thing there. What did I say? Quiet part out loud? I forget what I say after time. Roofs open in Texas, says Nitram. Is that good or bad? That's gotta be better for hitting, right?
Better for hitting. Warm in Texas, yeah.
Ball flying out of the stadium today. So again, I'd rather go some of the value plays here. I think Semien is $2,900. I guess is fine as one-off play, but
second's not great. You're really talking yourself into some exciting 20+% Marcus Semien.
I might just play Nico Hoerner. I don't know.
Righties against Quantrill. Yeah,
I might just play some Nico Hoerner, man.
Yeah, stolen base upside as well for Hoerner.
Like Albies is going to hit from his weaker hitting side.
Yeah, it's tough.
But obviously, we just mentioned the bad numbers for Irvin overall. So he's also been dropped to 7th, and he's 4,600. Play cheap Texans and jam Tucker Judge. Yeah, exactly. Double catcher lineup, good for the Cubs, bad for the Pirates this game.
Yeah. good for the Cubs. Yeah, it's their best two hitters.
Yeah, not great. Not great there. All righty. So again, second base, kind of an ugly mess there. Third base.
Can't wait to look at Texas. Is it Texas? Oh, no.
Well, again, Duran has the dual positional eligibility.
Yeah, I know.
India also cheap, obviously, if you get the dual positional eligibility there as well. Why are we not playing Manny Machado versus Yusei Kikuchi? We just went over all of these $2,500 plays that everybody's playing. Can't get the Macho Man here against Yusei Kikuchi?
Righties look great. They look great.
No one's playing him.
No one's playing Padres.
4%.
Yeah.
No one's playing Machado.
It's a good, it's a really good spot. Kikuchi's strikeout rate against lefties this year, 34%. Righties, 19%.
Yeah.
227 expected ISO, 377 expected WOBA for right-handed bat. And that's like year in, year out against Kikuchi. Like,
always gave up home runs.
always gives up home runs against righties. Manny Machado this year against lefties, 279 ISO, 437 WOBA, 94 mile per hour exit velocity. All 3 home runs, John, that he has hit this year have been against lefties.
Yeah. I'm for it. You're telling me that that's where everybody's jamming free Rangers? Like, spend up for Machado, man. Like, what are we doing?
Like, the Padres lineup kind of stinks after the top half.
Yeah, you play Tatis, you play Machado.
Yep.
You mentioned the numbers. Obviously, you can play Jackson Merrill, but you did just mention how good Kikuchi's been.
Yes.
What you hope is that the top 2 guys get Kikuchi out of the game, and then Jackson Merrill does his damage maybe in the 5th inning, and
or he's just actually
just too good because he's
too good. It's just he doesn't matter.
Too good.
Yeah,
too good anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, right. So if you want to spend up Machado for sure, Riley always live for a homer at $5K. Again, I'd rather find the $500 to play Machado. Michael Garcia's okay. Look at this VVP 2 man. It's at 2 bonds versus Kikuchi. Sign me up. That's all I needed to see. I only needed to see the BVP to let me know that's the play.
Same, totally same.
I mean, where's the Josh Young? 9% Josh Young, 30 homer than 2 of his last 4, 5.
No, they'd rather play Ezekiel Duran, who's really good at baseball. I mean, in this range, it's just kind of like, if you want to play Josh Young, it's like you're just playing Texas and you don't care about.
That seems what most people are doing today. Is they're
just playing
care.
Texas and they don't. Care, right?
Just they don't care.
No, they don't care. Right? That's fair. Playing Texas, you obviously don't care. Without their best player, without their best player, you're not just playing Texas. You are removing Corey Seager from Texas and saying, screw it, let's just do it anyway.
People are just playing DFS today like they just don't care.
And I hope it works out for everybody that's playing Texas. But
I want everybody to win. Everybody who's watching us right now, I want you to win all of the money today.
Agreed.
Not making fun of you, just making fun of the projections, because that's how bad Texas has been all season.
It's been terrible. It's been a bad offense.
They have the highest implied team run total today.
Like, I
don't think they've scored their implied run total combined in a.
No. Do they really? They have more. And Cal Quantrill's pitching on this slate, and they have.
I'd rather. Right. Why are we not playing the Cubs over the Rangers? I get why, the money, but like, you're projecting the Rangers to have more runs than them. Dubious.
I too am dubious.
Dubious. All right. Let's see what else we got. Got McMahon at 33, again out of cores, but some power from the left side. You
have India, you have Cabrian Hayes.
Yeah. I mean, if Bernie gets on versus Quantrill, he'll run.
He will. Paulie, lefty, but you don't need to play.
Duran's down here as well. All right, shortstop. Bobby Witt is getting love because, again, you're spending down everywhere else. You have so much money. I know. You don't know what to do with it, so you're playing Bobby Witt Jr. That's fine. That is a correct use of funds. Bobby Witt Jr. is really good at $6,100. CJ Abrams has been fantastic. Three hit games in his last 4.
He's betting on himself.
Yeah, that's true.
We know he's a gambler, especially on the base paths. Nowhere else.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think was he at the slot machines? What was the
No, wasn't he slouched over? Yeah, he was slouched over a table, wasn't he?
Yeah, table. Yeah. So, Candyman says it's Swanson time.
Yeah, I think he also said that Dansby was his home run call earlier in the show. Which
I'm for it, dude.
I agree.
1100 OPS again. Let's ride.
When
we first did the show this morning, I was like, dude, we're gonna play like Kyle Tucker and crew. Like, I actually think we played Dansby.
I think so. We did play Kyle Tucker and crew and Dansby as well.
Yeah, we figured it out. He's only 10%. I will say this though, if we get the Arizona lineup and Jordan Lawler's in it, he is $2,000.
Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time playing anyone else. I know.
I'm going to. Yeah. I don't know but we always go through this.
Never.
We're like, nobody plays the $2,000 guy.
No one's playing him.
So
what did it for us was the Tatis return, where nobody played an established MLB superstar.
Leading off, coming back, 2K. No one played him. We played him. The thing is, what's going to go against Lawler here is he's going to hit like 7th probably.
Yeah. And he's in the worst ballpark ever.
Yeah. But for value wise, since I really don't have an interest of playing Jock Peterson, like I'd rather just play here and I don't know, go play Ben Rice or something. I don't know. All right. So that's kind of shortstop. Happy to spend up. Witt, Abrams, great. Xander hasn't been great, but Kikuchi's 46. Dansby there as well.
Crawford leading off. I mean,
yeah.
IKF coming off the IL as well.
Is he off the IL?
He's hitting like 5th. 6th. Matt, I don't want to slight Matt Gorski. Matt Gorski's sitting.
Power hitting Isaiah kind of fell off of there. Yeah, I mean, yes. Beatty has hit some homers, but I'm not going to do that against Skeens. So, Pena leading off. Did you say him $3,900? I think
no, but yeah, he's fine.
He's fine. Do we think Luis Robert will play tomorrow? Says Billy. Maybe. Find out tomorrow.
You know what? I'll put it at a 50% chance. Maybe he plays. Maybe he doesn't.
Maybe he doesn't. All right, let's go to outfield where we should be looking to spend.
Terrible spend up position.
Yeah. Even then, the guys I thought you'd see up here are not here because you're seeing Rangers. Pico Armstrong is getting love. He's 4,900. He's your top priced. He's leading off. This makes sense. Right?
Yes.
Wyatt Langford makes sense at $5,200. Adolis is 20%. I don't want to play Adolis Garcia. I'll play Evan Carter as a mid-tier option because he's leading off tonight.
He's been great.
Yeah. And then Aaron Judge, obviously. Kyle Tucker's 13%, so that's fine too. But you have so much money. Like, I think you can make it work. Like, getting 2 top guys in here and then like playing Evan Carter, right? Just something like that, make it work.
How would you rank the 6K tier? Tucker 1? Because I think I have Tucker 1.
Nah, it is very difficult not to have Judge 1.
No, he's nah. He stinks. Shit, he's literally. You can play Babe Ruth at 6'5". You're absolutely damn right.
I still think Judge is 1, Tucker's 2.
Price,
as they list, I guess,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Tatis is 3.
Mm-hmm.
I like Corbin against Verlander. He could hit 2 triples today. It's well within range. Say Wyatt, all of them are great. Wouldn't play Soto, but you can. Again, Skeens gave up a bunch of homers the other day to the Cubs. Could be Soto.
You know what Soto's doing right now? Homering.
Probably true. Ooh, Altuve's in the lineup. I gotta go switch up my RT FSGA lineup now and get him back in there.
Congrats.
All right. Well, that's a top. What else are we looking at here? Stowers is in the mid range at 45, right?
Love
Lefty
Stowers.
versus Ray.
Yep.
What else are you looking at?
Interesting Rangers lineup. They have shifted things all around.
Yes.
Heliot is hitting 3rd tonight. And
you mean Giants lineup that you said Rangers.
Giants. Sorry. Giants. Heliot's hitting 3rd. Jung-Hoo Lee's hitting 4th tonight. Willie Adames dropped down to 6th. They moved Matt Chapman up to 2nd.
Okay.
So Yastrzemski, Chapman, Ramos, Lee. I mean, I don't hate Lee at 4,500 hitting 4th.
Okay.
Especially with how Ramos has swung the bat. Stowers, you mentioned, looks amazing against right-handed pitching. Michael Harris looks really good at 4K. If you're being weird and playing against Skeens, Nimmo's been awesome. Heliot Ramos, the aforementioned, has again been super good. Jason Dominguez coming off like his best series as a pro. $3,900 power speed combination there. Verdugo 3,700 looks great. Evan Carter looks really good, 35. Jesus Sanchez, you said on the show last night, like gonna hit home runs eventually.
At some point.
Colin Ray gives up a lot of power to lefties, so can definitely play him.
I mean, even back in that same range against Molly, if you're not buying him.
Yep.
In there. You mentioned liking Derek Hill here potentially.
Yeah, he's just I was just mentioning he's off the IL. He's
Okay.
one of 2 righties in their lineup tonight, and I want the lefties.
Let's see. Jacob Young's got some speed. Moniak's got some power. That's probably it, right?
There's no punts. There's no punts down here.
Yeah, no real punts down here.
RIP to Garrett Hampson. He was.
Was he the one that got let
He
go?
was the Lawler. He was the Lawler casualty. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Build a lineup time.
Oh yeah.
Michael King is in. What's the SB2 tonight, sir?
I mean, it just depends. Like, we can obviously do a double spend up. I don't want to play Rangers if they're going to be this popular. I'm sorry. I know it might break a lot of people's hearts. I don't want to play Rangers that are 20% against like a talented pitcher who's not pitching in course. Like, this is a really good ballpark to pitch in. Texas has not been like favorable to offense. Since
they've struggled, obviously. They fired their offensive coordinator.
No, but even when you look at, I'm going to go look at Savant, because I think over the rolling 3 year, their offensive coordinator, right? Rangers Park, over the last 3 years, Park Factor ranks 18th in offense. And Mark is here, says he doesn't drink milk.
Must be watching the replay.
Mark is a little behind. It's okay.
A little behind. That's
one day he'll catch up. It's up to you, John. What is your take on Texas being this popular? Like, you said you're playing Semien. I'm not saying we have to play Dollander, but what I'm saying is, like, are you?
All right. Well, let's workshop this backwards here. We'll keep King in.
Okay.
What's our top lineup?
Tucker. I like the Cubs. Tucker, Dansby, Amaya. I think Seiya probably looks better than. I know Seiya's more expensive, and I know he's been bad. The righties have killed Quantrill.
Yeah.
So, like, PCA, cheaper, hitting first, has been better. Seiya, hitting third, has been worse, but is in the better split. What do you prefer? You know, like there has been.
I don't think it's going to honestly matter today. Miami does have. They struggle to hold guys on base too. They've allowed the most stolen bases. That feels more PCA potential to get on and run.
Okay, to play PCA. I don't care. That's perfectly fine with me. Do we want to play Judge?
We do Judge is 3,800. We're gonna have to now eat some Rangers like Semien
and probably use Colin Ray in that lineup.
Right, Semien. Well, maybe. I mean, we could just punt Duran here, and then Peterson 79. Does that get us Kelly? Gets us Merrill Kelly.
Ugh.
I like Merrill Kelly. But that gets us gets us 3 Rangers, all chalky, right? We're kind of eating a little chalk there.
If we played Colin Ray over Merrill Kelly.
Yeah. 37. Do one off Salvi.
You could do you could literally do like Pasquantino India.
We could do, I mean, if you're comfortable with Duran, we could just play him at first and do.
I mean, I'm not, because I don't want to play.
You don't want to play Texas. Yeah.
They're hitting 200 against a really talented pitcher who's just pitching away from his home ballpark. I don't, you know, it's not my favorite subscription that I own here.
I mean, we don't have to play Amaya. We can go cheaper.
Punt and actually just punt Barnhart as the only Texas guy. Just like
yeah. I mean, I'm also just okay with that.
Caratini
3,400. Go back down to.
Does that get you Pasquantino? Get you
Pasquantino against
and India.
Where is he there? 32. Yeah.
Lefties have been the ones giving. Well,
India's righty, but
no, I know. That was more Pasquantino than it was anything else.
Yep. I mean, we could also. I mean, again, I don't know where you wanted to. I said PCA just for the speed, but could save some money and go down to like
Verdugo, because I know
yeah,
you
get
like,
a lefty Atlanta guy in the lineup or Carter, who I think is good. You know,
yeah, he looks good.
I don't think we had like any other like real punts.
Evan Carter was the 3rd overall prospect 2 years ago. Didn't he win World Series MVP, or did Seager win?
I mean,
World
he
Series
helped
MVP?
lead. Yeah, he helped kind of drive that. So I get Tucker, Carter, Judge. Don't need to go Barnhart anymore.
Can play Salvi there, or
could get Elias if you wanted to just get a guy there. You're
back to Amaya, and then like he's 37. Oh, they took his catcher away.
Catcher ability is gone. Okay. Yeah, go back to Amaya. It's $900. Now we can do something.
Go back to your Merrill Kelly play, John. There you go.
Okay. I don't hate it.
I mean, I'm just like the more I look at Texas, the more I just hope they get shut out. Respectfully to all those that are playing.
I don't like love the Royals, honestly. I mean,
yeah, I don't either. Gusto looks pretty good.
You just like a one-off, like Goldschmidt, like just.
But no, it's not even one-off.
Judge Goldschmidt stack. There you go. All right, we figured it out. King, Rea, Maya, Goldschmidt, Semien, India, Swanson, Tucker, Carter, and Judge. So 2 Texas, 3 Cubs, 2 Yankees, and a one-off punt. Jonathan India. There you go.
I like it.
All right, we figured it out. Ray, Maya, Goldschmidt, Semien, India, Swanson, Tucker, Carter, Judge for everybody. Appreciate you all tuning in. We'll be back with the preview show tonight. Look for that, 10, 11 o'clock. And we'll be back live tomorrow. Grande and Keith will be on at 5 o'clock to get you guys ready for the Tuesday slate. Until then, everybody, we'll catch you later.